We have this from The Guardian. I love this. Netanyahu making a mistake on Gaza, says Biden, as he urges Israel to push for ceasefire. Biden actually said he wants a 6 to 8 week ceasefire, pissing everybody off because the left doesn't like him no matter what he does. And now you got people on the right being like, there's still American hostages in Israel. And then here's my favorite part. Then today, Biden vows ironclad U.S. commitment to Israel amid fears of Iran attack. We have no president.
No.
You cannot call this man. Look, he wants to win votes from progressives. So he comes out and goes, oh, you know, what Israel's doing is wrong, but we will defend them no matter what. His words meaningless completely. Yeah. Iran said they'll attack Israel. Israel said they'll attack Iran. And then Biden says, no matter what happens, we'll defend Israel. So when he says Israel's doing bad in Gaza, Israel's like, what do we care? No matter what we do, you will defend us. So have a nice day. It's just duplicitous garbage. And we're going to find ourselves entangled in this conflict. Or
right.
we are entangled in it.
It's terrible fence sitting on the Biden administrations. They're trying to win every side of their party because the Democratic base, I think, has been really split over the Gaza, Hamas, Israel issue. And I just think Biden will suffer in the polls because of it. He can't try to appease every side of this argument. And if he's committed to Israel, then he's kind of effectively picked a side for a lot of his voters' perspective.
I do want to give a shout out to Donald Trump for his statement about this. He said, well, let me just play it for you. So, here you go.
Any Jewish person that votes for a Democrat or votes for Biden should have their head examined.
Oh, it has nothing to do with Jewish people, man. That's the problem. You got to not conflate the state of Israel with Judaism. That's what Hitler did. It's not about Judaism. It's not about Jewish people. It's about the state of Israel and what it's doing.
Yeah, well, this is the opposite of what Hitler did.
Hitler would talk a lot about how, well, it was before Israel was formed, but he would talk about, so Hitler didn't do this because there was no Israel at that point.
When was Israel formed?
1949, I think.
Was that what it was?
Yeah. 48?
48. Trump has been saying things like this for quite some time because of what Joe Biden and the Democrats represent. And perhaps toward me, I would have put it a bit more eloquently than you should get your head examined.
Would you have used the Joe Biden paraphrase and say if you
don't vote for me, you're not Jewish?
Yeah,
I feel like that would have been the worst.
To me, that's a lot like what, and Trump caught a lot of hell for this too. But when I think it was at a rally when he was talking about black voters, saying, look, you as a group, you've been voting for Democrats for decades. Give me a try. What the hell do you have to lose? And to me, it's very similar to that. I
do think Trump is a funny guy.
He's very, very
He's real funny.
He's a funny guy.
Did you see him at the restaurant buying 30 milkshakes?
Yeah.
Everybody laughed.
Yeah.
He was like, y'all going to get rich. People want to hear that.
Well, if you look at the clips from that restaurant, people are hugging him. Everyone's really excited to see him. I just don't see this energy at any public appearance that Joe Biden makes, he doesn't have the charisma to compete on this level with Trump. Trump is the popular vote for a reason. He's literally popular.
Yeah. Then this thing, look, we were talking about Gen Z voters and talking about how they can't afford rent and things like that. Now, to me, this campaign shakes up the 2024 campaign. It's set up really perfectly for Donald Trump because now voters have the benefit of being able to compare the two presidencies side by side. And it really is a true rematch. We had Trump as president for 4 years. We're near the end of the 4 years of Biden. And you can see by comparison, and to me, I think that, side by side, Trump wins easily. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to win the election easily. I think it's going to end up being really, really tight, just like 2016 and 2020. It's going to be like 3 states with the two of them separated by 10, 20,000 votes in each state. And it's basically a coin flip in those 3 states who's going to win. And that's 7 months from now. So who knows? But it is really set up really well for Donald Trump. By the comparison.
There's probably some kind of shadow campaign, if you know what I mean.
Well, look, in 2020, I remember we were at a rally in Battle Creek, Michigan in December of 2019. It was a week before Christmas, and we were at a rally there. And at the same exact moment back in Washington, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats were impeaching Trump for the first time. And we thought at that time, this is going to be the dominant issue of the whole campaign, this impeachment. Stood to reason, right? He got impeached by the House. It's going to be a lasting campaign issue. Well, we didn't know anything about COVID or anything else. So God knows what's going to happen in the next 7 months. What we see today is not the way the race ends up. No way. And we don't know what's going to happen.
I feel like the Social Security numbers, we brought this up like night after night. I do not want to beat a dead horse on this. You may not be familiar with it though. And I know the audience is almost by now.
So I'll just ask, have you seen the Social Security verification numbers that show hundreds of thousands of people without IDs trying to register in various states?
No, I've not seen that.
So it's a big story of the past couple of weeks. There's something called the Help America Vote Verification. When someone tries to register to vote without an ID, they have to use their social. It gets sent to the SSA, who then verifies if the person is alive or dead or even exists in their records. And Texas is registering something like 200,000 every 2 weeks. Texas denied this, saying, no, we haven't done this, but the Social Security Administration is reporting they did. Missouri, on February 17th, had 23,000 deceased people, according to the SSA, try to register to vote without IDs.
And for reference,
where has this been? I haven't heard anything about this.
In Missouri, 80,000 people were attempted registration. 25,000 of them were dead. That's a third of them. What in the hell is going on? Look at these numbers. This is like.
So where are you getting this from?
The Social Security, SSA.gov.
Really?
This is the Social Security Administration website. And it's something called Help America Vote Verification. And they say HAVV is for states to submit only new voters who do not present a valid license during the voter registration process. February 17th is one of the most suspect weeks because Missouri registered, I shouldn't say the word register because what I mean to say is they noted 78,000 registrations with no IDs, 23,000 were deceased. And this is single match deceased. These are registrations that came back, matched in their database as a dead person. And now Texas has said.
So were these rejected?
No, they don't reject. What they do is so let's say you're in Missouri, you register to vote.
Yeah.
Then the state says this person did not have an ID. Can we get the SSA to verify this is a real person? The SSA then says you are alive, you are dead, or you're not in our database. And so they told Missouri, yes, 23,000 of the people who submitted are dead. Here's your thank you and have a nice day. And then
it's up to Missouri to do whatever.
Texas
Attorney General
issued a statement, Secretary of State, denying that they actually registered this many people. They're like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. It must be a wrong number. And I'm like, hey, all I'm going to say is this. Maybe it's the Social Security Administration is broken because we can check the numbers for every week. And Texas has been consistently in 100 to 200,000. If come November, Texas goes Democrat, don't be surprised.
I think.
They've been saying they're going to win Texas every election for the last 10 elections. So, I mean, do you think this has something to do with illegal aliens or? What?
Yes, I do.
I don't.
Yeah. You don't.
You don't think so?
You don't.
Some of it maybe, and I'll tell you why. You can see here on the website total non-matches. Interesting number. In this, let's go to Texas. There were 36,000 non-matches. That means out of 219,000 registrations, 36,000 did not get a proper Social Security number. I'm sure some of them could be incorrectly filled out forms. That number says to me, yeah, it seems like there's a lot of non-citizens trying to register to vote and they're using fake information. Who knows necessarily? We don't know for sure. But I think when you look at Pennsylvania, Texas, and the total people who are being registered without IDs, I think it's more indicative of somebody who has access to DMV records and voter registration records, cross-references them, removing all that appear on both, and then finding all of the DMV, all the people who are listed on the DMV registration or drivers who are registered with the DMV or MVA, who have not registered to vote. They can then register on those people's behalf without them knowing to bunk addresses where they can then get the universal mail-in vote or do something like that.
So are some of these states, like I can see from across here, Virginia looks like it's in single digits.
Yeah, let's go to the week ending in March 30th. So this is the most recent data they have.
So I wonder if some of these...
New Mexico is 0. New Hampshire is 0. You've got Mississippi 36. You've got Maryland 2,619. I mean, these numbers could make sense. Arizona 25,000 seems kind of odd.
I wonder if you see these big numbers spike, like that's a 5-digit number, right?
Yeah.
Arizona is a key battleground state.
Sure
state,
is.
Right. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Pennsylvania
I don't know anything about this.
You
but
do.
Boy.
You go back the months and look at Texas, and it slowly goes down 150,000.
Then it goes back up.
80,000.
A year ago, it's 200.
It's really
190.
I should say, I think it has to do with the illegal immigration, and they're going to be trying to register people that aren't citizens. But I have no evidence. It's just a thought, and it's a correlation that there's this illegal immigration.
It could be. To be fair, that Joe Biden is the Lich King, and so he has the undead vote. And Trump hasn't worked very hard to get the undead vote.
Yeah,
so
they will rise again.
He hasn't spent a lot of time campaigning for it, to be fair.
No.
I think Trump needs a necromancer on his campaign.
He's going to need to do a tour of the underworld. I'll go.
I mean, Biden is so close, he can see through the veil, you know what I mean?
If you went with Donald Trump, you'd have a good time.
To the Hollow Earth?
I promise you.
I'm into it. Meet all the zombies.
That would be one of the greatest comedy movies of all time.
To the Hollow Earth.
Journey to the Center of Hollow Earth with Donald Trump.
Yeah, that'd be badass, dude.
Incredible.
I'd go there. You see the wind blowing in my hair as we're like flying on some magical donkey like through this giant cavern.
Magical donkey.
Yeah, I was picturing more like
I was picturing
you know?
I was picturing a submarine or
never-ending
something.
story, kind of.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
That's
of,
what
but I
you
just
were
said
thinking
donkey. First word that came out.
Yeah, I think Joe Biden is so old he actually can see through the veil and communicate with the dead, and that's why he's
doing well with them.
Yeah, he's doing well.
He does look like the head knight. Well, now I forget. It's been so long since I watched Game of Thrones, but the White Walkers.
Oh yeah, the White Walker.
He looked like the head guy. He's kind of
no.
he's a little sunken in there a little bit now.
I feel like he has no chance of winning because his own base doesn't want him. Then there's RFK. I just don't see a libertarian. If he does, is he officially with the Libertarian Party now, RFK?
No, he's not.
Tapping the Libertarian Party.
He's running just independent.
Looking for a lot of money. And he's like he needs to get on all the ballots. But he's going to take, I mean, his charisma is going to take votes away from a lot of them from the Democrats that are really not happy with Biden.
Do you have a prediction about how RFK affects the election?
I think he's got to hurt Biden more than he takes any Republican votes. I think if I'm sure the RNC and the Trump campaign will be doing this, but I mean, if you look issue by issue, there are certain things that I think would lead Republicans to maybe flirt with RFK as a candidate. But he's an environmental radical extremist. He's like AOC on the Green New Deal.
Right.
And if any Republican or any conservative or any libertarian finds out about that has got to be a deal ender for flirting with RFK as a candidate, in my mind. I mean, the Green New Deal, it would just devastate everything that we know about our economy and the world economy. It would be absolutely devastating to throw us into that overnight. And he's that guy.
What are some of the worst aspects of the Green New Deal? Because I'm not super familiar with it.
Well, it attacks, first of all, when this was all being debated, I was working in the Trump administration. I was the communications director for Sonny Perdue, who was the Secretary of Agriculture. And one of the chief enemies, there's lots of enemies, fossil fuel industry, first of all, they want to get to net zero carbon emission, and that means the absolute death, not a phasing out, but not a gradual reduction, but like the death
closure,
penalty, closure on fossil fuels. It would be economically devastating. Also, they hate agriculture, and every time they get caught in one of the things that they're attacking, they try to backpedal and deny it. Like AOC and her staff accidentally, this was a big story at the time, accidentally put up a version of the Green New Deal on AOC's website that had some stuff in it that they probably meant to take out, like getting rid of and eliminating cows, for example.
They're anti-cow?
Yes, they're actually anti-cow. And what was embarrassing, the reason why they got embarrassed is because the document they put on her website actually contained the phrase cow farts. Because
I
remember this?
Yeah.
Because of the methane.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.